The true story of Christopher Knight, known to the world as the North Pond Hermit, is perhaps the most visceral example of a human being deciding to simply cease existing in the eyes of society. This isn't a story of a weekend retreat, it is a 27-year descent into the silence of the Maine woods. In 1986, Christopher was 20 years old. He had no grand trauma, no dramatic debt, and no criminal record. He was, by all accounts, a quiet, intelligent young man with a good job installing home alarm systems. One day, without leaving a note or telling a soul, he drove his brand new Subaru until it nearly ran out of gas. He pulled over, left the keys in the ignition, and walked into the dense, unforgiving woods of central Maine. He had no compass and no plan. Imagine the sheer, terrifying loneliness of that first night. The woods at night aren't peaceful, they are a cacophony of cracking branches and unseen movements. Christopher described a feeling that wasn't just fear, but a profound dissolution of self. Without another human to look at him, to call his name, or to expect something from him, he began to feel like a ghost while still breathing. For the first few weeks, the hunger was a physical weight in his chest. But more than the hunger was the shame, the lingering, nagging voice of society telling him he was supposed to be a son, a taxpayer, a worker. He had to battle the instinct to run back to the road every time he heard a distant engine. For the next 27 years, Christopher lived in a small nylon tent hidden by a cluster of boulders. He survived by committing roughly 1,000 burglaries of nearby summer cabins, stealing only what he needed to survive: propane tanks, batteries, and food. The Maine winters are brutal, with temperatures often dropping to -25 degrees Fahrenheit. Knight didn't have a fire because smoke would give away his position. The physical agony. He spent his winters in a state of perpetual wakefulness. To sleep was to die of hypothermia. He would wake up at the coldest part of the night and pace his small camp to keep his blood moving. The sensory deprivation. He went decades without speaking. He later admitted that he eventually forgot what his own voice sounded like. He became so attuned to the woods that he claimed he could feel the change in the seasons through the vibration of the ground. When asked later if he felt lonely, his answer was chillingly beautiful. "I was never lonely. If you like solitude, you are never nowhere. You are everywhere." In 2013, the 80% of showing up rule took a dark, ironic turn. Christopher was finally caught while showing up to a kitchen to steal food. When he was arrested, the police thought they were dealing with a myth. The most emotional part of his story isn't his time in the woods, it's his forced return. When he was brought back into society, the sensory overload was agonizing. The light of a modern room felt like a physical blow. The smell of perfume and detergent was nauseating. The expectation to explain himself felt like a violation. He wept in his cell, not because he was a criminal, but because the silence he had spent half his life cultivating had been shattered. He felt a profound grief for the loss of his solitude, a grief that most of us can't fathom because we are so afraid of being alone. Christopher Knight's story reminds us that walking away isn't a vacation. It is a radical, painful stripping away of the ego. He didn't find success in a bank account or a title. He found it in the ability to sit in a frozen forest for 3 decades and feel completely, utterly enough. To the world, he was a thief and a hermit. To himself, he was the only person who had ever truly seen the world without the filter of other people's opinions. The question he leaves us with is haunting. If you stopped showing up for everyone else tomorrow, who would be left in the mirror?